Milo, is that you?
There, I think I got it. Kevin, hard part.
Yes.
I guess you probably don't even... I guess it's like any nickname. You probably don't even answer to Kevin anymore.
Well, people at work we have 3 Kevins in my group. So I'm K Marks.
K Marks? I thought pretty much everywhere you went now you'd be hard part.
I'm hard part everywhere except work.
Do you want us to contact your work? Do you change that for you?
Yeah.
Well, considering I work at a company that has a very high female population, I don't think that would be an advisable nickname.
Okay. Gotcha. Mr. Marks, please report to Human Resources. Mr. Marks, Human Resources.
I try not to have that happen because those never go well.
I was listening to, you know what I found in I pulled out the bottom drawer. It got the bottom drawer of the filing cabinet got jammed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I noticed that, and I kind of reefed on it with a crowbar, and it didn't come out, so I said, the hell with it.
And I was...
So how did you get it open?
Well, I was in one of those moods, where you just, you go to open it, and it's like, oh, not this, too. So you just start reefing on the thing, and...
You turn into the Incredible Hulk mad, Rip Burrow.
Yeah. And then when I did, I found an old Kelly Questions with Serge Lebel.
Holy moly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did it have like an inch of dust on it?
Yeah, and the tape had come unreeled a bit, but I was...
but you're able to get it back in.
I was able to get it back.
You got your trusty 2B pencil in there and spun it around.
Yep, spun it around.
There's a trick a lot of kids won't know these days. Is put that pencil in the old cassette tape and spin it to rewind it.
I know.
Tighten it up.
The only thing I never understood about 8-tracks is why would you be driving down the road and there'd be a big long string of 8-track tape on the side? You wouldn't see the case.
Just the tape out there, yeah.
Yeah, you'd see the
that
tape.
happened a lot.
It happened a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just kids being rambunctious and, pulling stuff out and, just let it fly out the car window and see how long you can get it and then just eventually let it go.
I always amazed. You'd be wanting to know, what happened there? Like a guy got sick of listening to Fleetwood Mac and tossed it out or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of like finding one shoe on the side of the road.
Yeah, there's the other one.
It's like, what do these people do?
Yeah.
And on that note, what's this old recording doing at the bottom of the filing cabinet?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how did this end up down here? So it's our buddy Serge Lebel.
Right. He's an incredible mom.
Oh my God.
Note skills, so Kevin be right up there. He's
oh my goodness! It's like you look at what he does, and it just completely blows you away.
It's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, you absolutely pretty much have to. We absolutely pretty much have to someday just show up at his place and go, yeah, we had to see it in person.
Yeah, we made the trip all the way to Trois-Rivières to see you.
Yeah, and it's an easy trip, really. There's one ferry you got to take, but you can drive it.
Yeah, you can drive it.
He says he's 7 hours from Quebec City.
Yeah.
And how far is Quebec City from Montreal?
Quebec City from Montreal is about, I'm trying to remember, it's about 2.5, 3 hours, I think. Maybe, about 2.5, 3 hours, maybe 4.
Okay, so probably all told, if you drove it from Toronto, it'd be like 14 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
So you'd probably be wanting to stop for some poutine somewhere along the line.
Yes, along the way. You could stop in Drummondville or someplace into Quebec to get some poutine for the night and then continue on.
Yeah, have you ever made it east of Toronto yet, Kevin?
No, not yet.
When are you coming back to the Southern Ontario? We had a good time.
Oh my goodness, we had so much fun. Yeah, definitely. I'd love to come back next summer. That would be a blast.
Yeah, and next summer we're doing back to our roots. We're doing Rochelle. Here's what I'm thinking, Kevin, and I'm also thinking. I know it's a bit of a waste of money, but I think it would be more fun going to the Illinois Train Museum on a bus.
Oh, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and then we'd make a stop at a Dairy Queen. So it wouldn't be.
There you go.
It wouldn't be a complete waste.
No.
Yeah, and it's always fun traveling as a group in the bus and everything.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Especially when we can watch clips of Airplane.
Yes.
I can't tell you for 2 hours.
Which we did at Tomstock.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And people loved it. I mean, we were laughing the whole time we were driving through the Pennsylvania countryside.
I thought you were a little quick to move on to the next thing, though. Like when we were just doing the audio, I thought I was hoping you were going to play the whole ending song, the whole ending song from the podcast, but you seemed pretty antsy to move on to the next clip.
Yeah.
You were so excited. You were so excited. We had a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun at Rochelle. Then we're going to have a lot of fun at Tom Stock 2024. And then we're going to have a lot of fun at Scottapalooza.
Scottapalooza 25?
Yep. Scottapalooza 25.
Nice.
Somebody's going to have to tell his wife. Hard part.
I think he'll be okay.
You have a way with the ladies.
Sure. I'll take one for the team.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
And while you're doing that, don't forget to mention Rapido Trains.
Oh, we have to mention Rapido Trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
There you go. So this is we're coming.
Why are we mentioning Rapido Trains, Lionel?
Because it is the sole exclusive sponsor of the AML Nation. Of all the free podcasts, it's the sole exclusive sponsor of the AML Nation. Rapido Trains, right there in Markham. They're always making stuff and selling stuff, and it's Rapido Trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
Absolutely. And this is an old podcast, so we're just kind of throwing that in there. Trust me, Jason, the advertising will hopefully get better as we go along.
Yeah, we're just new at this.
Yeah, we're just working.
We're like the guy who just come up from ARCA into the next series up and hasn't quite got all the sponsor naming down yet.
We're being pretty silly, Bruce, because we have the guy right in front. We're sitting right here with us. If you've ever seen Kevin Marks in action at a train show at the Fast Tracks booth, holy mackerel! Talk about a salesman. Not.
Well, it seems that he is a salesman. There you go. He's the AML's own version of Jeffrey Gitomer.
Yeah, there you go. And it's not like when they're trying to sell anything. It's you just try to answer questions and let people know what they're going to get into and everything that's involved. And that's the great thing about being at the show is you can actually stand there and talk to a live person. Yep. And when we did the last show, which was Kansas City, it was great. I would talk to people and Clark was off on the side, giving people demonstrations. And then, when people were ready to buy, Tim would take their order and he did a very meticulous job of making sure that they had everything they needed to get started, because the worst thing is ordering a bunch of stuff and then finding out you forgot one thing.
Yeah.
There's nothing more frustrating than that. So it was a good system.
Yeah, it's a great system. All right. Well, anyways, what's coming up is Serge Lebel doing the Kelly questions from about 2 years ago, and it's lots of fun. And we don't need to do an outro because the show closes itself.
There you go.
But at the end, there's nobody to say Rapido Trains.
Your fast track to model railroading fun.
Exactly. Kevin, would you like to do what comes next?
Absolutely.
All right. Do you think he's going to do it, Bruce?
Hey, he doesn't know. He's got a pen on. He needs the cue card. It says Subway Chimes Go.
Yeah.
Line.
Line, please.
Subway Chimes Go.
Yeah. Here we go. Subway Chimes Go.
Shut up, Mike.
See,
he's saying a word. He's rolling around in this chair going like...
Imagine that.
Oh, boy.
The first 15 seconds of this podcast is nothing but the boy wonder giggling.
Oh, that's great.
That's just great. That is just great. For crying out loud. I'm miffed. Yeah, people all over the world are anxious to listen to this, and all they can hear is the boy wonder giggling. I don't know. And Spoon is here too. Spoon.
Hi.
All right.
Hi.
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 Hi. Hi.
Okay,
Hi.
so hi. Hey, hi, eh? Hi,
Hi,
eh?
eh?
Oh,
Hi, eh?
Hi,
Sorry
eh?
now.
Yeah.
You know.
Good new.
Good new.
Yeah.
We're not going to start that because we'll never stop.
No.
What's she doing? What's she doing? What's she doing?
The dishes.
That's the next thing. Yeah. What's she doing? Nothing.
Nothing.
You want a beer? You want a cold one?
Ooh. You got one?
Yeah. Oh, hey, I got a fridge full of them. Come on in. We'll sit in the back. We'll shoot crap for a while.
Perfect.
There you go. Hey, George.
Hey, Lionel.
George.
Lionel.
Do you have any idea if this is the first podcast since the last podcast?
Let me check my notes.
I just had a thought. If Rod Deary was unhappy with the very first podcast he ever listened to, I'm glad it wasn't. Glad it wasn't the first 2 minutes of this one.
Well,
yes, this is the first podcast since the last podcast.
No, there you go. Talk about a whole lot of nothing for 2 minutes. People all over the world are going, it'll get better. No, I don't think so.
High quality entertainment.
It is definitely not infotainment. Do you guys remember a long time ago, like probably more than a year ago or almost a year ago, we interviewed that guy all the way on the North Shore of the St. Lawrence Seaway, the Serge Lebel that was building that magnificent O-scale layout?
Vaguely.
Yeah.
I seem to recall something like that.
Yeah, he travels by himself on the train. And
Yeah, he's a locomotive engineer for the Quebec North Shore and Labrador where they
takes moose carcasses for hundreds of miles.
Yeah.
They throw rocks at people.
Yeah, exactly. And he 3D prints little bunnies.
Yeah. I remember that guy.
Have you been 3D printing any little bunnies yet, Spoon?
No, I have lots of globs of stuff that come off of my 3D printer.
Turn them into frogs. It's almost the same thing.
I'm not quite sure exactly what they all are yet.
Wasn't that the same guy that built a pulpwood car out of a log?
Yeah, a log to log car.
Yeah. A lump of basswood.
Yeah, at that point, you basically just decided, why am I even in this hobby?
Yeah, I just threw my hand
give up.
in the air. I give up. Quit.
All right. Well, he's still in the green room, so let's.
For a whole year.
Yeah.
Wow.
We never
watch your mouth there, Spoon.
Yeah, we never unlocked the chains.
Went out already.
Yeah, we never unlocked the what do you call those? What are they things that
shackles?
The shackles, yeah. So he's still in the green room. So hey, just yell down the hall there, George, and get him to come in, and we'll do the Kelly questions with him.
All right. Hey, Serge, you there, Serge?
Yes, I'm there.
Oh, good.
It looks like you've dropped a few pounds.
Well, I was hoping for shrimps, but there aren't any more shrimps. So
yeah,
I guess I'll bring my own next time.
Last time, what do you expect?
Yeah, I'll bring my own next time.
Yeah, bring your own. You can get fresh shrimp right out of the seaway there.
Yes, straight from the dock.
Maybe we'll finally get a new batch.
Yeah. Maybe we'll finally bring a bag
after all this time.
Yeah, bring a bag of frozen ones. The 2130 count. Okay.
Well, those are the big ones.
Yeah, well, sure.
Yeah,
nothing but the best here.
Yeah.
So Serge, you're an avid listener of the podcast.
Yes, I am.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to subject you to a series. Now, let's just remind everybody, you're a locomotive engineer for the Quebec North Shore and Labrador. You run 240 unit cold unit trains that haul iron ore. They have one-man crews. How many locomotives would you have on one of those?
It's 3 locomotives in distributed power. You have 2 head units and one that's about 3/4 of the way.
Okay, now I have. All right, this is going to be a bad deal. I got a question for both you guys, both locomotive engineers, and we got to organize all the railroad guys and get them on a podcast. What is that like to have 2 at the head end and 1 in the middle? Do you feel like especially, and then Spoon, I mean, doesn't matter whether, I mean, by yourself, does that just give you a feeling of awesomeness and power in your hands?
Well, I've actually got a little different
deal with that because I used to work on a job that was a push-pull job where we had 2 engineers, one on each end. So the guy that you work with every day could be 1.5 miles away from you, shoving on the same train. That was before distributed power. As a matter of fact, they still run that train the same way. And when you're trying to stop, and all of a sudden all that slack starts coming in, and it's because the guy on the hind end either fell asleep or isn't paying attention to where he's at, or doesn't realize you're trying to slow down and stop. You got to get on the radio. Hey, I'm trying to stop. Oh, and then all of a sudden all the slack starts coming back out because he's starting to slow down finally. Yeah, it gets a little nerve-wracking, but
there goes your cough. There goes your coffee.
There goes everything that you got sitting in front of you. That's for sure. Yeah, it's. I've never run distributed power. I've never done it. I don't have that experience. That's the closest experience I've got to running something like that.
Well, actually, in distributed power, you don't really feel it. You just see it on your gauges. I mean, you see that you have more power. But you're not feeling anything at the head end because that locomotive is 160 cars behind you. So it doesn't make a difference really, except that you can maintain your speed when you need to.
And can you run that that unit that's way back there? Can you run it individually? Like, can you somehow, at some point, you decide you need that particular locomotive to give you more power? Can you run it individually?
Yes, you can. If you need that engine in power, let's say you're doing a slow order somewhere, and you're on a hump and you can't really pull with the head end power, then you can push with the distributed power. So yeah, you can use it independently.
Wow, that's cool. That's great.
Yeah, it's actually a method of working with the distributed power.
Do you have to put a block up in order to do that?
No.
Oh, you don't have to do that. On ours, we have to put a wall up or like a block, so that way you can separate the controls so you can actually do the other engine manually, and then the lead units can be controlled separately. But you have to put I believe it's called a wall or a block or something like that.
Oh, okay. I know what you mean. It's a function that's called a move to front or move to back, actually. So when you're at move to front, you have the control of all the locomotives in your consist and distributed power. And when you set it to move to back, then you're controlling the distributed power independently.
Are you able to do stuff with your with the DP unit? Are you able to be under throttle with the head end and dynamic braking with the DP unit?
Yes.
So you can keep the train taut.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's required. In some instances, if you don't want to pull a drawbar, or if you don't want any slack out in your train, it's required to do that. Yep.
George?
Sorry. Oh God. Here we go.
No. I just got a question for George.
Gilbert, what's up?
You realize you're drooling, right? You're salivating
all over the floor. Why do you think I was on mute? I was cleaning it up.
Yeah, there you go.
This is hardwood, man.
I know. All right, Serge, you put on the tinfoil cap, which you get to keep.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and be careful where you stand because there used to be a couch there, but somehow it dissolved, and now the floor is pretty weak there. So be careful.
I'll just stand.
I haven't been here for a little while. The couch dissolved. I was wondering what the heck happened to it.
Yeah, just sort of over about a week and a half, 2 week period. It just started kind of turning into goo.
So the McGurk spot turned into nothing but a big pile of gunk.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what I said the last time. The McGurk is gone.
Wow. It's that's
that boy.
Wow.
The boy Wonder's quite a wordsmith, isn't he?
He's something.
Yeah.
I've had my one moment for the day.
All right, Serge, we're going to put on this tinfoil hat and we're going to get right at this. This is a series of hard-hitting questions that you're going to have to deal with. Which do you prefer, steam or diesel?
Diesel.
Do you have a particular favorite?
Yeah, I'd say the SD70 ACs.
Oh, really?
Yep.
And because you run them or because you model them?
Both, actually. I think it's a neat model. The first time I saw an SD70ACE, I was struck. It looks mean. It looks like a bulldog. It's I don't know. To me, it's a great design
and fun to drive
and comfortable to drive.
All right.
Yes.
So let's remind everybody that Serge Lebel is an old-scale model railroader in Sept-Îles, Quebec, and his Facebook page is, geez, I don't know if we said that on the, did we say that on his original interview? Man, I'm going to be mad at myself. We're going to have to do a little add-on at the end or the beginning or stick it in the middle. Yeah, we'll do it at the start. So his Facebook page is Sandmore CN 2 rails CN Sandmore sub. Let me find it here. It's O scale CN Sandmore subdivision.
That's right.
So go to there and sign up and like his page because it's fabulous railroad. On Facebook, it's O scale CN Sandmore subdivision. All right, let's keep moving here. We got a lot to do. What's your favorite prototype railroad?
Prototype is Canadian National.
Because you're Canadian?
Because I'm Canadian, of course. Because I grew up with it, actually.
Okay. In Sept-Îles?
No, in Edmundston, New Brunswick, because I'm originally a maritimer. I'm from New Brunswick.
Okay, Edmundston, New Brunswick. Is that on the north side or the south side?
It's in the northwest corner of the province.
Okay. Well, I got a question for you that's from personal experience. Why does New Brunswick have the worst roads in Canada?
They don't anymore. You'd be surprised. They corrected that matter a few years ago. Now they have the best roads. I
actually busted the windshield on my Harley in hitting a bump I was going down from, I don't know, I left Halifax and I was headed towards St. John's, I guess, and I was on the freeway that we call them in Canada, and I hit a bump. I was doing about 110 kilometers or 65, 70 miles an hour, and I hit a bump, and it cracked the windshield of my Harley.
Jeez.
Worst roads in Canada, worse than Pennsylvania. If you were rail fanning, would you rather photograph the trains or ride on them?
I think I'd rather ride on them. I never get tired of riding on them.
Do you ever get a chance to ride on trains?
Every week.
How about you, Spoon? You ever get a chance to ride on trains?
No.
Okay, I got a great question for both of you. George, back me up on this. I think this is a great question. We'll take a little time out here. Both you guys are full-time railroaders. You love your jobs. You love being locomotive engineers. And both of you guys are avid model railroaders, which I know is becoming more common. I think there's always been model railroaders. It's just that now you don't have to hide in the closet with it. What is it about being a full-time railroader and an avid model railroader? Serge, you go first.
Well, for me personally, being a full-time railroader, you see railroad operations from the inside. So that gives you a whole new perspective on building a layout and operating a layout. And that's what's fueling my energy to build the layout. I want to reproduce what I'm seeing out there. So for me, that's the energy behind it.
You just never get tired of it. You just love it all the way around.
All the way around. I can never get tired of it.
All right. What about you, Spoon?
Well, I was interested in trains before I even started in model railroading, before I even got on a railroad. And then, like Serge just said, it's a lot of it is the inside out perspective, because I get asked a lot of questions about things, and sometimes it's going to sound kind of bad, but sometimes it gets a little irritating because what's common to me is something completely unknown to somebody that's not within the industry. So, So I'll get asked a question. I'll be like, okay, well, this is pretty simple stuff. How do you not know this, or something like that? And I'll be, I'm always nice. I always, do the best I can. But after about the 30th time, it gets kind of the same. It kind of gets a little bit under my skin a little bit. But when I'm able to sit there and model something like I am modeling the early 80s. And like on my job, I see all these per diem boxcars from the late 70s, early 80s, still full of roll paper that come into town. And I'll be like, ooh, I know what that is. Oh, hey, look, Seattle North Coast. Oh, hey, look, this is, the McLeod Railway. Oh, okay, I know that. And I'll be sitting there going, oh, I should take a picture of that. I know it's painted over, but I know what that railroad was. And I know, okay, I should go get a paint chip off of that car. Or I should go and take a look underneath to see if the frame, the reporting marks and number of the original car are still painted on the frame. I should go and do that. And it makes it kind of fun to see something that you're modeling, that you want to model, and be able to actually touch it in real life, Yeah. And like for me, I run a lot of older second generation locomotives and some first generation locomotives. So if I need a detail part, I just go out on my engine and I measure it.
Yeah,
and then I go home and I design it and I print it.
And that's how you and Bob Frischella struck up a friendship.
That's exactly how Bob Frischella and I struck up a friendship, and that's how we kind of created the GP38-2 in S scale. So it's really interesting. It's kind of an interesting question.
It is. It's basically what I'm taking from both you guys. It's fun to be able to be part of the industry and to model the industry at the same time. It makes the industry more interesting because it's also a hobby of modeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like if you worked on lake freighters and you built boats models of the lake freighters, which I know some people are in that situation where they work on lake freighters and then in the winter they build models of them.
And the thing is, though, is like those guys, if you ask them the color paint of the Great Lakes fleet, they can tell you the exact color of burgundy or maroon that they're using. And they can tell you the angle of the stripe on the side, and they can tell you what the stack colors are, and they can tell you all of that. There's no difference from those guys than to the model railroad guys. Those guys are absolutely ravenous about those boats. It's amazing. I know a couple of guys that do that, and talk about great modelers. Holy cow.
Yeah.
They're on par with the World War II, like the military modelers, So.
Okay, let's keep moving here. If you could time travel, Serge, to a particular era for railroading, what time would you think you'd travel to?
Well, if I had my say, I would travel to the future, of course, because I don't want to see what's behind me. I want to see what's ahead of me.
Oh, wow, look!
So I can model it. So I can model it before Atlas comes out with it.
So it's about cornering the market.
Yeah. That's a good answer. It might help your score. I doubt it, but it might.
Is that the very first time that we had somebody say that?
I'm 90% sure that it is.
Yeah, I'm positive it is. It's the first time somebody said they want to time travel to the future. That's pretty cool.
There you go.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see what it's like on the Quebec, North Shore and Labrador 20 years from now.
When this show hits 88 miles an hour party.
Yeah, exactly. What was your first model train?
My first model train was a lifelike set that had a F7 unit, Canadian National F7 unit, of course, and a Swift reefer that everybody probably had,
yeah,
and a CN coal car and a nice CN caboose on a 36-inch circle of track.
Perfect. That's all you need.
And that was probably the best day of my life. I'll probably never live anything that'll surpass that day.
Wow.
When I got that train set. Even today.
Except for the day you met your lovely wife, Nadine. Nadine?
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Let me help you out. Let me help you out any way I can here, sir.
Well, right now I'm trying to score points with you, not with my wife.
That's heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, that's an admirable quality, but I would put me pretty far down the list if I was you. Or your other option is don't ever let her listen to this.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
It's probably best.
This is a great question. We've never asked this question of an O-scaler. If you were going to use cereal to simulate an open load in a scale 70-ton hopper, what kind of cereal would it be?
Well, for O-scale, I'd use Rice Krispies.
That is such a popular answer. Like, what's wrong with like Fruit Loops or Captain Crunch or something? I mean, it's cereal. It's already
it's too big. Unless you crush it, I mean, it doesn't fit.
But it's cereal. It's cereal.
No, it might work well. Frosted Flakes might work well.
It's cereal. Yeah.
You guys are all missing a boat. Grape nuts. Nobody wants to eat that garbage in the first place. You gotta find something to do with it.
What's your favorite model railroad scale?
Of course, it's O-scale.
This is a great question for you because of all your history. You've built N-scale layouts and O-scale layouts. True or false? Yes. It's N-scale dead.
No, it's not.
Okay.
False.
All right. Yeah. I think N-scale is like a bad Wi-Fi signal. It sort of works some of the time. When I look at what's coming out in N-scale, because I still have an eye on N-scale items once in a while, just for fun. And when I look at what's coming out in N-scale and none of that stuff is coming out in O-scale, I'm sort of jealous. Yeah.
So N-scale is quite thriving, more than O-scale, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, like I said, it's like a bad Wi-Fi signal. When it works, it's great, but when it doesn't, it drives you nuts. Favorite model railroad?
Favorite model railroad is Mike Confalon's Allagash Railway.
Okay, that's a good answer. Yeah. And have you watched any of his videos or anything?
I have all of them here.
It's a great series.
And I watch them just as often as I listen to your podcast, twice.
There you go. This is okay. Who is the most or was the most influential model railroader for you?
For me, it's John Allen.
Okay, great answer.
Yeah, John Allen. I when I first saw one of John Allen, an article on John Allen's Gory and Defeated, I believe it was in Model Railroader. The scenery really got my attention, and right now on my O-scale layout, there's an area that I call the what's the name of that? Anyway, there's an area. I forgot the name of the area. That's the problem with naming your own own places on your layout. But there's an area on my layout that'll have floor to ceiling scenery.
Oh, cool!
Just because of John Allen's Gory and Defeated.
Right, and I had a great question. Don't tell me. Oh yeah. So where exactly is the Sandmore subdivision? Suppose it's a fictional railroad based on prototype railroading. Where is it supposedly located?
It's I'd say it's located west of the Maritime Provinces, probably somewhere in Ontario, northern Ontario.
Okay.
From the scenery that I'm building, I want to build the same scenery that I work in on the railroad here, which is it's mostly spruce trees and rocks.
Yeah.
And that's not really something that you see in the Maritimes. Maritimes, you have a lot of deciduous trees. So there's not really a setting for it because it's like I said, it's a fictitious railroad. But what I'm trying to have it look like is somewhere between Mike Confalon's Allagash Railway, in the sense that there's a lot of leaf trees that not have any leaves in them, but it's not as not as many deciduous as conifers. and somewhere in early April, I guess, so that I can have a little bit of snow because we have lots of snow here.
Yeah, you do have a lot of snow there. I was looking at some pictures. Holy mackerel!
Yeah.
Do you have a big driveway?
No. On purpose.
Yeah. You have a snowblower though, right?
I do, but I have a contractor who takes care of the snow because I'm not here most of the time.
Right, yeah, exactly. So yeah, for your wife, yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, I was going to say something interesting. I thought maybe it wasn't. That's a neat combination. Oh, I think you're trying to create scenery that's either like northern Quebec or north of Superior in northern Ontario.
Yes, I'd say yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I was going to say somewhere between like Sudbury and Thunder Bay.
Yeah. And these are all places for you folks in New Zealand or Australia. So Lake Superior is is the last of the Great Lakes. Just think of Gordon Lightfoot and the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. And on the north side of Lake Superior, which is one of the largest inland bodies of water in the world, I think. It's all granite and rocks. It's not super high, but it's very rugged, very, very rugged. And there's some dramatic scenery in that area. I'll say, okay. Select one of the following as your favorite: bench work, track work, scenery, or electrical.
Scenery.
Okay, so you're anxious probably to get to that part then.
Oh, definitely.
All right. Have you got any scenery done at all?
Not yet.
All right.
Not yet.
Get to work.
I'm just 4 years into building this layout. It's still too new to have scenery, but I'm getting there.
We're going to have we're going to do other segments and interviews with you, but let's remember to mention to everybody that they can follow your railroad also in O-Scale Resource, which is an online magazine.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and once you've done like the last 3 years, you've done some sort of an update, haven't you?
I do an update every year at the July-August issue. And in between these updates, I have little small articles on different projects that I'm building for the layout here. And
I would imagine since your interview episode such and such, I think probably like 158 or 6 or something. And since then, and between now and then, you've made another YouTube video.
No, I haven't. I should. I really should. I'm going to have to kick myself and get it done.
No, I see. The point I was trying to stick with me, George. Are you with me? Are you getting it? Help me explain it to him. So your interview probably came out in the summer of 2020, and your this is probably being broadcast sometime in 2021. Probably the late spring of 2021. So in that time, I'm imagining that you have already completed another YouTube video.
I might have.
Yeah, you might have. Well,
I might have.
They were pretty good, so I think you should even make them shorter. Make a 5-minute one. People will love that stuff.
Well, you know what I try to do is I try to prioritize the articles for the magazine, and in order not to compromise the articles, since it's an update article that comes out every year, I wait after the July issue comes out to record my video, update video.
Oh, okay.
So that way, if someone reads the article, they can see it live, or they can see it on the video a short time after. And if someone is not subscribed to the magazine, which they all should be because it's free and it's entertaining, they get to see the video.
Perfect.
Just remember, Serge, it's always next week on the AML.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
If you could give somebody starting out in the hobby just one item and cost was no object, what would it be?
It would definitely be a 3D printer.
Oh, I think that's the first time. I think that's the first time anybody said a 3D printer.
I think you're right. It's a very good answer.
It's one of the best tools that any railroader can have.
And I think the thing, I don't have a 3D printer, and I don't care to understand 3D printers, and I don't care to ever have a 3D printer, because it's another whole rabbit hole you'd have to go down. I'm having enough trouble with this podcast. I don't know. It's not easy being popular,
I know.
Yeah.
Quiet in the peanut gallery.
Yeah, exactly. But they've changed so much. And what? Maybe the last Spoon. You know this too. Like they've changed so much in like what the last 5 years, maybe.
Oh, they've in the last probably 2 even. They've come down to the one that I've got is, what is it, 10 inches by 10 inches square by maybe 18 inches high, if even that high. You just set it on top. It's a tiny little thing, but they do an amazing job. They do a really good job. For what it's not professional quality, but for what most modelers want to accomplish, does a great job.
Well, even just the range of materials that are available now. None of this was available a couple of years ago.
Well, even the filament ones have come a long way with their technology, like with temperature decks and or temperature plates and all the different types of filaments that the filament ones, you still get print lines with the filament ones, but they've got it to a point where those extractor nozzles are heated to a point where you can get so fine of a layer on there, and they're going to continue to improve. And now now they have these desktop laser cutters and stuff like that. They're like the old 3D printers where you wait another year or 2 years and those things are going to be $200-$300 instead of $2,000-$3,000,
Yeah.
And so it there's so many opportunities out there. So it's, yeah.
I will have 10,000 CPR wood cabooses all made of real wood. 10,000.
All in the box, all sitting in various stages of construction. all put together with no trucks.
The failed attempts will be everywhere.
Spoon, can I ask you a serious question?
Sure.
Have you ever?
First time? Go ahead.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about making little bunnies with your 3D printer?
I have thought about making little bunnies with my 3D printer, and I attempted to make little bunnies, but they kind of turned out what would kind of be the opposite of a bunny, like little balls of frog goo, maybe.
Tadpoles?
I'm not quite sure how to explain it. Yeah, I'm not there yet. I'll stick with flat surfaces.
We need to. Go ahead.
It's all in the paint. It's all in the paint.
Yeah.
It is all in the paint.
Let's see. Where do you buy? Okay, so we talked a little bit about it. Sept-Îles is a town of about 20,000, 25,000 people out on way out in the eastern part of Quebec. What's the state on the other side? Is it Maine that's the closest state in the American side?
Well, yeah, Maine would be the closest state, but it's still far away from here.
Yeah, I know, but I just meant it as far east. As far east.
Well, Maine is the most northern state in the U.S., right?
Yeah. So it'd be like
So that's why it's the closest to us here.
Yeah. Okay.
If you were to leave,
no, it's not. It's not the most northern state in the United States.
No, it's Alaska.
It's Alaska.
Whatever. The lower 48.
Yeah,
that's right.
Well, it's for those that are trying to figure out where he is, he's kind of like east of Maine. So that's where he is, north and east of Maine.
Yeah, that's right.
If you were to leave Serge's house and go due south, you would hit Maine.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Eventually.
Eventually.
Leave Quebec.
It's a lot of
Quebec in August. When you leave Quebec in August and you hit snow, turn right and go until you hit water.
Yeah. There you go.
But don't leave any earlier, or you'll bring all the bugs with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you know? Now that we're talking about Maine and we're completely off topic, did you know that Campobello Island is a Canadian island off the coast of Maine, and the only way you can get to it by car is to go through Maine. It is the only part of Canada that is landlocked by. The only way you can get to it is to drive through Maine. So it's an island off the coast of Maine, and the only way you can drive to it is you have to go through Maine.
There's a part of Minnesota that's like that, where you have to. There's a town on that little northern jutting part. There's a little town up there, and the only way to get to and from that town is to go through Canadian customs. You got to come through the customs, go down into the United States, and then come back. That's the only way to get into that town. It's the same kind of concept.
Yeah. Talk about off topic. Oh well.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back at the Kelly questions. So you buy most of your model railroad supplies online.
Yes, all of it online, actually.
Yeah. You don't have a big hobby
there's no hobby shop. No, there's no hobby shops here. The closest hobby shop, if you go to Quebec, but then again, the hobby shops in Quebec don't have much O-scale equipment. It's really not a matter of choice. I have to buy online.
Okay.
So I'm paying twice for everything I'm buying because I'm paying so much in shipping.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Is it? Yeah, but is it expensive to ship from? I know you bought one of the places you buy from is a hobby shop in Toronto called Credit Valley. Is shipping expensive from there to your town?
Depends on what you buy, but I think shipping is more expensive in destinations in Canada than coming from the States.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Living in Canada is like living in Jupiter.
I know.
I love don't get me wrong, I love being Canadian. I love my heritage, but holy mackerel. Okay, what is your favorite train event of the year, either model or prototype?
Oh, would you know what? I've never been to many train events in my life because I really don't travel that much. I would have to say there's an annual show in Quebec at the club there, where they have they open up the layout for visitors and they have tables for anyone who wants to sell their stuff secondhand.
Okay.
So that's one of the rare events that I go to.
And do you get there? Like how many times? Like you don't go every year. You go every second or third year, or? Third even. Sometimes I skip a few years. Okay. And when Serge speaks of Quebec, he speaks of a place called Quebec City.
Quebec City.
Yeah.
7 hours drive from Sept-Îles.
Yeah.
I'm
pretty excited that you said that you drive there because now I'm all pumped about. I'm going to swing by Ottawa and then I'm going to drive. I'm going to come for an operating session sooner rather than later.
Yes, hopefully.
Yeah. Absolutely. Road trip. Absolutely. Are you kidding? Okay. Do you prefer regular beer or light beer?
Regular beer.
True or false? Light beer is like driving a Porsche Boxster.
False.
Oh.
It was going so well too.
Yeah.
Well, that's because I've never driven a Porsche Boxster before. So I have nothing to compare it with.
Okay, well,
I drive a Toyota. So.
Yeah. If for some reason you ever decide you're going to buy a Porsche, do not, under any circumstances, buy a Boxster.
Oh, okay.
You literally lose your Canadian citizenship.
No, you literally lose your manhood. It's either a 911 or a Targa or the Boxster's it's a great car, but it's a girl's car.
I'll stick to my pickup truck.
Okay, are you driving a Tundra?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, absolutely, the best truck on the road. I've had 3 of those, and man, there's nothing better.
Yep.
Nothing better than a Tundra. You can stop at every gas station. Lots of fun. What color is your Tundra?
It's black on black.
Oh, look at you. What year is it?
2017. I purchased it brand new. And I went to the dealership and I said, this is the truck I want. I found the truck on the internet. And I said, this is the truck I want. And what options do you have? So they gave me a list of the options, and I chose my options. And when I signed the papers for the purchase, the girl said, this is the first time that we sell a Toyota Tundra that has the value of a Yaris in accessories only.
That's pretty cool. And where is there there wouldn't be a Toyota dealership in Sept-Îles, would there?
Yes, there is.
Wow. See everything. You're set, buddy. You are.
Oh, we have a Walmart, we have a McDonald's, and a Toyota dealership. We're all set.
Yeah. and you get to drive 240 car unit trains by yourself.
Yes, that's right.
Oh man, how cool is that?
That's living.
That is living. He's living the high life.
Certainly seems that way.
It does, doesn't it? How many times have you been married?
I hate to say this, but I've been married 3 times now.
Yeah. Here's a little life tip I picked up from my buddy Burt Reynolds. Not that Burt Reynolds, a different one. And he'd been married 3 times. And his life advice was, if this one doesn't work out, you might want to start thinking that it might be you and not them.
But third time's the charm, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, don't screw this one up, okay, Serge?
I've learned.
Attaboy. Salty or sweet?
Sweet.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Do you have one?
2 of them.
Oh, what kind are they?
They're miniature pinchers.
Miniature pinchers.
Yeah.
Anybody?
They have little springs under their paws. They're jumpy little things, and yeah, they keep yakking all the time.
What are their names? Before we go on, if one of them's name is Muffin or Princess, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Well, one of them is named Boris.
Okay.
And the other one is named Tia.
All right, that's great. Perfect.
Yeah,
those are good names.
Yeah, Boris and Tia. If I get my next dog, I'm calling it Larry. Coke or Pepsi?
Pepsi.
What is your favorite hot dog condiment or condiments?
I know you don't want to hear ketchup, so I'm not going to say it.
I was going to say, careful.
Yeah. I like my hot dogs with fried onions. And I guess the best thing that goes with fried onions is relish.
Wow, that's a pretty good combo. You can say ketchup.
Good answer.
You can say ketchup if you want. I'll just never talk to you again.
We'll just think a lot less of you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. We won't bother with a road trip. Like, why would you visit a guy that's putting ketchup on his hot dogs?
Because he plays with trains.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, there's that whole Tom Stock. There's that whole queso cowboy thing. That's probably why he puts ketchup on his hot dogs, because he's always loaded down on queso and can't think straight.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing. Now that would be an interesting study. Spoon, you'd love this. If we discovered that everybody that likes ketchup on their hot dogs also has a fondness for queso. That'd be an interesting correlation right there.
That would be fun to figure out. That's for sure.
If you were a beer can, what size would you be?
Oh, I'd be a long neck bottle if I was a bottle. If I was a can, I'd say a slim can.
A slim can. Wow.
Yeah, nice and long and.
Yeah, I don't know where that's an interesting answer. I'm not sure.
Well, this is going downhill.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that's going. How many pairs of shoes do you own?
Oh, I'd say 8 pair of shoes.
You got your work boots.
I got 2 pair of summer work boots. I got 2 pair of winter work boots because you need winter work boots here. I got 1
Aren't
pair
those the
of.
same as your summer ones? Aren't your summer boots and your winter boots actually the same pair of boots?
No, actually, absolutely not. They're totally different.
Yeah, the summer boots are open-toed.
Oh.
We call it the Quebec special, also known as flip-flops.
And I have running shoes, for working on the layout, and I got running shoes for when I'm at camp at May, when I'm not working, and I got a couple of pair of dress shoes.
Okay, cool.
For special events.
Yeah, when you take your wife out to dinner and stuff.
Well, or when you come to visit.
Yeah.
I dress with a tie and a tux.
Yeah, no, if you do that, I'm not coming in. I'll just turn around and head back.
I'll just stand in the laneway and applaud.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, because I'm going to be turning to you, George, and going, this guy's wearing a tux. What's this?
And I'm going to be standing there applauding. It's like, yeah, I know. Isn't it great?
Wait a minute, though. Would that be any different than Kelly wearing his pumpkin suit or whatever, his pumpkin tux that he's got that he wears to his shows?
Well, if I go to visit Kelly and he's wearing that, I won't be stopping there either.
It's a good point.
I've had dreams about that.
It's a whole different podcast.
Yeah, it's a whole different podcast. It's the middle of the night, and the smoke alarm goes off. And in fact, there was a small fire, but not much damage. And in fact, the smoke alarm did go off, and you and your wife ran out of the house, and you jump out of bed, you pull on your sweatpants. Which T-shirt would you grab before you run out into the street?
Well, since I don't have an AML T-shirt yet, I would grab one of my CNO scale Sandmore Subdivision shirt.
You have a
because I have those, of course.
Oh, cool. Well, I can see a trade coming up in your life.
Oh,
yeah. Do you have any in XXL?
I can make some.
There you go. What size are you?
I'm just large.
All right, yeah. You like them?
Yeah,
you like them?
I wear large because I don't like to feel like I'm trapped in my clothes. So
yeah, or you wear large because you like them skin tight.
No,
wait another sit in that chair for another 5 or 10 years. I guarantee you that large will end up with an X at least in front of it.
Yeah, okay. So, all right, we'll be working on that, Serge. We'll rectify it. We'll rectify that situation. What's your favorite kind of pie?
Apple pie.
Yeah, me too. Do you put cheese on your apple pie?
No, I do not. I put ice cream.
Oh, okay. Chocolate or
there you go.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Who puts vanilla cheese on a pie?
It's an English thing. That's the only way I have apple pies with cheese. Cheddar cheese.
You're from Wisconsin. Don't you put cheese on everything?
No. No, there are some things we just don't put cheese on, and pie might be one of them.
I thought you guys slept with a block of cheese.
Well, I do, but I mean
that's beside the point.
That's completely beside the point.
Man, here's 52 minutes of our lives we'll never get back. What's your favorite Bobby Goldsboro song?
I wouldn't say it was my favorite song, but I would have to go with Honey.
There you go. Attaboy.
Yeah.
Can you do a couple of bars?
Oh, I don't think so. I'm really not a good singer.
This would be a good question.
You know that happens to be a Ricky Skaggs song also.
Really?
Honey, yeah.
Okay.
It is actually. Yeah, but I don't know, is it the same lyrics?
No, it's not the same.
No, but he did Ricky Skaggs did do a song called Honey. Yes.
Wow.
Honey.
Yeah.
Ricky Skaggs.
I'm changing your score, Rez, right now because the Ricky Skaggs thing, they kind of pulled that out.
Ricky Skaggs, I love a lot of his music, but he went kind of goofy for some reason or other. I don't know why. I saw him.
He got older.
Yeah, I saw him at a live show with somebody else, and he insisted on doing music that nobody knew. And people started basically booing, and he turned on the crowd and said, "Hey, if you don't like it, leave." People were like, and I thought, well, that's worth the price of admission right there. Okay, if you were a superhero, what sort of powers would you have?
Oh, the one power I would like to have is the ability to stop time.
Oh, okay, and 1 minute he wants to go into the future, and another minute he wants to stop time.
Yes, because I want to have time for modeling.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's
because we never have enough time for modeling.
No, we never have enough time for modeling. We never have enough time for podcasting anymore either.
Oh, there you go.
When do you listen to the podcast? When you're working on your stuff, or when do you listen?
Mostly when I'm working in my studio, in my workshop upstairs. Yes.
Yeah. Can you imagine that, guy? Hey, guys, can you imagine that? People are all over the world are working on their stuff, listening to us, listening to others, and listening to our voices. It's like we're right there with them, helping them build their model railroads.
Hopefully, they're not falling asleep right now.
Yeah.
Those poor bastards.
Yeah, I know.
I was going to say, all those poor, unfortunate souls.
Just think, Serge. All over the world, people are listening. I've listened to your episode and to listen to you now as they're working on their stuff too, or they're working on whatever their latest project is. You're helping right now, Serge. You're helping people enjoy the hobby more.
Well, you're making me nervous now.
Yeah, see.
I am convinced, though, that I may personally be responsible for like every other or every third flat tire Rod Deary gets on his grader.
Yeah.
Or every blown hydraulic line.
Well, no, I cannot. I'm not taking any credit for that. That's just plain,
Yeah,
that's just Rod.
Yeah,
it's just Rod being Rod.
It's Rod being Rod. Hey, Rod, whatever you're doing right now, you're on your grader going along. Stop. Get out of the grader. Yeah. Take a picture.
Take a picture. Yeah.
You want to be a super fan, Rod. You got to get out of the grader and take a photo.
It's funny how the last like 2 or 3 pictures are him on the side of the road waiting for a mechanic to come to fix his grader. Do you ever notice that?
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying too. Yeah. What do you think your costume would look like, Serge?
Oh, geez, what would it look like?
It'd probably be like a one-piece spandex onesie. Maybe.
No, I don't think so. I don't think I would look good in a onesie,
and
especially not in spandex. I don't have the shape for that.
You know what? How about this, guys? It would be It would be in the shape of a stop sign with a clock inside of it.
That would make sense.
Stop time man in a spandex onesie with his underwear on the outside and a cape, like a blue onesie, red underwear, gold belt, and a green cape.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing I can stop time so nobody can see me in that outfit.
Couldn't let that one marinate.
Hey,
let that marinate for a minute.
Yeah, let that marinate. I just had a thought. I've been begging, and I finally got it a little while ago. Took me years to accomplish this. Serge, can you send us a photo of you standing in front of one of your locomotives?
Yes, I believe I can do that.
Yeah, thank you, Serge. I would appreciate that. As soon as
you know what, that's not. No.
Spoon, that's not a personal problem.
I have to do that when I'm off duty, but I have access to the locomotives even when I'm off duty, so it's not a problem.
All right, there you go.
I can't take any photos inside.
No, I'm not asking you.
Photos inside.
No, I'm not asking you to. and the locomotive can be off in the distance. And if you could if you could do that in less than 2 years, you'll have broken the record.
That is not the parameters that were set forth when you asked me in the first place. Now the rules are different.
I think Spoon's head's going to explode.
Yeah.
I finally sent you the damn picture, and this is what...
Yeah. Hey, do you get many rail fans out there in the old Quebec North Shore and Labrador?
Oh, no, we're too far away from everything else.
Yeah, like you don't even get rail fans in town or nothing?
No, because you don't really get to see much of a glimpse of the trains when you're in town. There's one overpass that goes over the tracks where you can see part of the yard, but there's not really that much action there.
Okay.
So, once in a while, because we have a passenger train that goes all the way up to Shefferville, once in a while you'll get the odd train enthusiast that'll take a trip, go up to Shefferville and back just for a train ride. And but that's about it. We really don't see a lot of rail fans out here.
There's a bunch of pictures online, though.
Help me.
Somebody's out there taking photos because there's some really cool pictures online.
Yeah, there is.
Yep. Yep.
Help me out here.
It's mostly people that work for the railroad.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
We have a lot of contractors that come during the summertime to do track repairs, and most of those guys, they'll take photos and they'll post the photos. Yeah, not because they're rail fans, just because they like to see the trains, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Help me out here, you guys, because I'm just going to throw out some names. So I know we have a lot of full-time railroaders that listen to podcasts. Tim Garland, Luke Lemons, Emery Lehman, Kenny Broomfield. I know I'm missing people.
Adam, yeah.
Who is Adam Pinellas? Yep. I'm sure I'm missing people. And all cool jobs, all fun to talk to. But seriously, one-man crew on a 240 car ore train, that sounds to me like a very cool job.
It's fun. It's a challenge, let me tell
you. Even for you, Spoon, I bet you'd like to take a crack at that with all the years you've had railroading.
I don't know if I'd want to do it by myself, but I would certainly love to go and try to run that line. That would be kind of, it'd be interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Have you ever had a brush with the law?
Yes, I have.
Attaboy. Why doesn't that surprise me?
It surprised me, that's for sure.
Can you give us a few details?
Yes, I'll try to make that quick there. I used to have a custom sign shop, and back when I was in Edmundston. And in Edmundston, you're right on the border between Canada and the U.S. through the state of Maine. And I got a contract to do some ambulance graphics for a company that was in Maine. So one day I went out to do the job, and when I came back that evening, the customs officer asked me if I knew my license plate number. So I gave him a number, but it was my van, but it was the shop van. It's not my everyday vehicle. So I gave him the wrong number. I was wrong by one digit. So he said, well, move forward. And so I thought, because they have cameras, I thought maybe the van is too long. You can't really see my plate, my rear plate. So I moved forward about 4 feet, and I stopped, and I waited. And he wasn't even looking at me anymore. He was looking at the other cars behind me. So I figured, well, he wants me to go. So I started driving slowly, and would you know it? Then you heard all the alarms, and the police cars got there, and it was a whole free for all. Yeah, so that was fun.
Yeah, that wouldn't go down too well. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah, we got a runner. I got
go get him, boys.
Yeah, I got stopped by the bylaw officer the other day walking my dog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was out walking my dog, and I got a dog that's 13 and a half years old, so she knows where she's going, and it's a very quiet neighborhood. So we're walking along like we have for the last 13 and a half years, and so she's just 10 feet in front of me, and this pickup truck, this woman in a pickup truck pulls up with the township name on the side of the pickup truck, and she goes, "Is that your dog?" And I went, "Yeah." She says, "We have a leash law, your dog has to be in a leash."
Yeah.
And I went, "Okay." And she says, "Do you have one?" I went, "No." So she says, "Well, you have to go home." I went, "Okay." And I started walking again. And she goes, "Well, where do you live?" I said, "I don't know." She says, "What do you mean you don't know?" I says, "I don't know." And I kept walking. And she pulls up again. She says, "I can find you, And I'm like, "Okay." And she goes, "What's your name?" I went, "I don't know." Needless to say, she got more and more annoyed as we went along. But I kept going because she kept saying, "Well, you must know where you live." And I went, "No, I don't." I had no idea. It was like she's never. It was like, "What did you want me to?" "Yeah, here, put me in cuffs and take me away."
For walking your dog.
Yeah,
I'll just feed you all the information you want to hear.
Yeah. So then I'm telling my buddy, And he relays that this happened to him, his friend, that this happened to his friend. And his friend is one of these, read all the rules kind of. So he goes home. So they actually gave him some sort of because he told them his name and everything. So he goes home and reads all the bylaws and just can't find anywhere in there where where you have to be holding the leash. So he bought a dog about 1.5 foot long leash. Bylaw officer comes along and says, "You need a leash on that dog." He says, "I got a leash on the dog." So there's much carrying on right now with dogs and leashes and bylaw officers. I don't know what the point.
But the real question is, who let the dogs out?
Yeah. Woof woof. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's finish.
Sorry,
this.
I had to.
Yeah, you had to. Have you ever been on TV?
Yes, I have.
Wow, doing what?
About 20 years ago, I was. I'm a musician. I'm a bass player.
Oh.
And about 20 years ago, I was in a band called the Buckwheat Blues Band. And CBC television made a short story on our band. So, yeah.
What's the name of the band?
Buckwheat Blues Band.
Buckwheat.
Buckwheat.
Better spell that.
That's Buckwit. Buckwit. Buckwheat.
Okay, that's an interesting name.
Yeah.
You know what? You know how you were worried about you were worried about whether your English was good enough?
Yeah.
Your English is great. Your English is fine. I mean, we've been carrying on conversations for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. But
better than mine.
Yeah, better than mine.
Well, there's so many things that I would like to say, or I would like to say differently, but I can't always find the words. And that gets pretty annoying to me, but I do my best.
Have you ever listened to the podcast? That's pretty much the entire podcast is me trying to say.
Believe me, Serge, as the only other bilingual person in this room, I can tell you're doing fine.
Well, thank you.
Are you bilingual?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Are you bilingual there, Boy Wonder?
I am.
Wow. Okay. Well, la-di-da.
Well, la freaking da. I was raised in French school my whole life.
All right. Well, okay. All right. So then we can go to Serge's place and you can translate for me. I won't be cast aside.
You won't need translation. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
I know, but I thought, all right, never mind. We'll go into that. That's another story for another day.
I do have one question for Serge, though. What is the primary language used at work?
At work, when you're on the main line, it's French. But by the time you get to Labrador, when you get to the yard in Carroll Lake, it's all English.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's a bilingual railroad.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't have thought that. Okay, so because you're in Labrador.
That's kind of the reason I was asking that is because I know, like in the airline industry, a lot of times they really push, like all the foreign pilots need to be fluent in English.
Yes,
because even in foreign countries like Germany and in the Middle East and all these places like that, and in Asia and stuff, the tower operators they all speak English to all the aircraft because you never know who's coming in. Like English is the primary
is the default.
Yeah,
yes.
English is the default. Yeah, English is the default. And I didn't know if maybe it was kind of a railroad thing where if you guys, would speak, straight French throughout, or if it was all English just because you never knew who was going to be floating around. Or how it was, but that's kind of interesting that it's bilingual. That's kind of cool, actually. That's really neat.
That's because we crossed the we're in two different provinces, right? So we're on the main line. We're mostly in the province of Quebec, so that's why it's all French. All the conversations are in French with the RTC and everything else. But by the time you get to Lab City, then you're in Labrador, and it's all English over there.
So, it's the same thing in Ontario. Like you'll hear the CP, the CN, and the VIA heading towards Montreal. And at a certain point in Ontario, close to where I am, they change over to the Montreal RTC, and the English crews still speak English, but all the French crews switch over to French.
Yep.
And it's like a seamless transition.
Yep.
That's really crazy. It's interesting. It's really neat.
Yeah, we were going to make English the official language of the AML network, but then I'd have to learn it. So.
Well, I tell you what, Lionel, what I will do is when we're inevitably traveling through rural Quebec and Quebec City, I will absolutely help translate for you.
Yeah, I think that's going to, either that or I'm going to end up getting my ass handed to me, one or the other.
I will not let that happen.
All right.
I got your back.
Okay.
You gotta get him a blue and black checkered flannel shirt, though. That's
actually you'd be
standard practice in
surprised.
Quebec.
Oh,
You'd be surprised at the number of Anglophones that are in Quebec.
I know there's lots of Anglophones in Quebec, but I don't want
There's
to.
a lot of Anglophones in Quebec.
I just don't want to insult anybody because I know a lot of I know a lot of Quebecers are very proud of their heritage, so I don't want to insult anybody. With the Sudbury slur. Who's your best friend?
My best friend is my wife.
Attaboy.
Yeah, she's the only friend I have here.
Yeah. And you don't have a lot of you're on your third strike here, so you don't have a lot. You got to be really careful.
Oh yeah.
What's your favorite zoo animal?
Oh, I'd have to say the chimpanzee.
Wow, that's kind of it's usually a giraffe.
No, they're kind of squirrely. They remind me of myself when I look at myself in the mirror.
You know when you say chimpanzee, that reminds me of Ron Marsh of Ron's Trains and Things.
Ron's Trains and Things. Yeah,
because he's the official. Ron's Trains and Things is the official videographer and video creator of we have a whole library of how-to videos that are on Ron's Trains and Things. And he reminds me, he's like a monkey with a locomotive in one hand and a camera in the other.
Hi, I'm Ron of Ron's Trains and Things, and if you'd like to see more model railroad tips, tools, and techniques, then be sure and subscribe down below and click that little bell icon so you can catch future videos.
Now, I can say that because he told me that first, so it's not like that. Do you prefer baseball or hockey?
Hockey.
If you could choose only one professional sports team to root for, would it be the Green Bay Packers, the Ottawa Senators, or the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Oh, the Maple Leafs.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
If you were stranded on a desert island with just one person, would you prefer to be with Mike the Spoon Ostertag, so you can always get things stirred up, the Boy Wonder, so you'd have some fresh blood, or yours truly, the Evil Overlord?
I guess I'd have to say I would like to be with Mike, because we have a lot of common, and we could talk for days and days without, we could just talk about railroads and never get tired.
Yeah, I'm just making a note here.
How does it make you feel, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just making a note.
Is that going to affect my score?
Well, I guess
it will for everybody.
Do I still have a score?
Yeah, that's a better question. All right, what's your favorite podcast?
The AML.
Perfect. All right.
Yes.
Time to do the scores.
This is going to take a while. Hold on a minute.
I gotta do some ciphering here.
Yeah, time to do some ciphering.
Let's see here. Pay no attention to the smoke.
Yeah. You guys want me to go ahead while you guys are ciphering? Because I already have my score.
Yeah, you start. You start.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so I kind of have a soft spot. I had a soft spot. Maybe I should say I had a soft spot for Serge when we started. And I really liked his future answer about what era he'd like to travel to. I thought that was original, and I liked that. I was very disappointed in the Rice Krispies answer. Seems like everybody we ask, they go with Rice Krispies, and I'm like, what's wrong with Cocoa Puffs or Captain Crunch or anything? There's all tricks. There's all kinds of cereals, but they're always going to Rice Krispies. That seems like a not very thoughtful answer. Not a lot of thought put into it. Then I was really bummed when he was so adamant about N scale being so great. Like he doesn't seem to know what scale he wants to be. He's modeling. He's got a 300 by 400 foot O scale layout, but he's really his heart set on N scale. So I'm very confused. I like the John Allen answer. He said that was his most influential model railroader. I liked that answer a lot. But then the Porsche Boxster answer. Like, what is that all about? But then when I realized he preferred to be in a one-piece onesie, spandex onesie for his Superman, or for his stop time costume with the cape and all that, I found that a little unnerving. So that made sense about the Porsche Boxster. And then he went with a slim can. He wanted a slim can for his beer. Like, isn't that like he wanted the slim can? I think he'd be better with the little stubby bottle, or a little stubby can. And then, of course, he picked Mike for the guy he wanted to be on the island with, because he obviously has no ability to decipher personalities or people that might be of any use to him in an emergency situation.
I can change an air hose.
There you go.
And I know how to fix a knuckle.
So I'm pretty excited to meet Serge and make his acquaintance and all that. So I gave him one of my higher scores of 4.30.
Wow! Thank you.
Okay, that's pretty good.
At least it's not a negative 4.3.
Yeah. Well, if you don't stop talking, it could be.
All right, George, do you want to go or should I go?
I'll go. Okay. We were doing really good right up until the Boxer thing. I got really hung up on that. I liked John Allen. I liked the fact he got Honey right off the bat with, and then he added Rick Skiggs in to keep things interesting. Not picking the Senators. I'm honor bound to hate the Leafs. I can't help it. I'm from Ottawa, man. It's in my blood. The Tundra thing, I like that too. I am definitely a Toyota fan, so I would knock some points back up for the Tundra. And then picking Mike for the island, I don't agree with it, but I understand it. So I'm okay there. I was neutral on that one. So I came up with, I have much ciphering, but I came up with a score of 3.819.
Wow.
Is there a score for Bruce?
3.819.
No. All right. Well, in all honesty, there were a lot of answers that were pretty meh. Like, okay, whatever. Love the Allagash answer. That was a fantastic answer. Huge points for that. Got good points for the John Allen answer. That was pretty good. The 3D printer answer was interesting to me. I like it, but it was pretty interesting. You lost some ground on the light beer, though. No. I mean, if you're going to drink light beer, just grab a bottle of water. Okay, that's all I'm just going to say. Love the fried onions and relish combination. That has got to be like have we ever had anybody say fried onions on a hot dog before? It's kind of interesting to me. I might actually have to try that to see exactly how it is.
You got to be from Quebec to try that.
The Ricky Skaggs thing, I like that with the Bobby Goldsboro song with the honey. I mean, that's kind of you got a couple of extra points on that for just kind of pulling that out. I'm sorry. I can't do the Leafs. I just can't. I just can't. It's just no. If you're not going to say Minnesota Wild, don't even answer the damn question. That's all I'm going to say. I only gave you a plus. Well, you got kind of a look. My original score was a 0.53, but because you chose me, I gave you a 10.53.
Wow, talk about swing score. Holy shoot.
I don't get picked for nothing. I'm like the fat kid in dodgeball, man. I don't
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
What was that? I fell asleep and I thought I took a nap.
Oh, come on.
How much was the total there, George?
Was it like 10.5 or something? Or 10.1?
Oh my God.
10.5.
That's crazy.
That may be the high.
He started out with a positive 10 just because of the fact that he works for a railroad, which makes him ultra cool in the first place. So how?
But But your scoring scheme is so all over the map. He went from 10 to 0 back to 10 again on one question.
That's because he chose me, man. That's it.
I mean,
I have to. Hey, you know what? I reward perfection. When someone finally chooses the right answer, I'm going to reward them.
All right. I mean, it's your score.
I suppose we need to tally this all up, don't we?
No, I don't.
I thought I was being generous.
No, I lost. I actually halfway through your scoring, I kind of lost interest and dozed off.
You do all the time. I came up with a final total of, wow, I don't know how we managed to do this, 6.006.
I was 4.3.
Yep.
And what were you, George?
3.819.
Okay.
And I was 10.53.
Yeah, so I guess you're right. I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could do math with more than one number.
Not often.
On occasion.
How long have we been doing this for? Oh my God, this is like an episode on itself. This episode of Kelly Questions. This is going to be like a standalone show on a Monday. Between episodes, it's going to be like Serge does the whole. Man, oh man, I don't know what to say about this. Other than I got to go to the washroom. I'm desperate.
We better wrap this up then.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Spoon, can you give out the email address?
Sure. If you'd like to contact us via the email machine, just send one of your hand-typed little emails to Modeler's Life. That's Modelers with one L. Like, I don't have anything with one L. Or at gmail.com. Modeler'slife.com. At gmail.com. I could have screwed that up worse.
Yeah. That's Modeler's Life, one L like island, not two L's like Septil.
There you have it.
Not two L's like Lebel.
Lebel, there you go.
Hey.
Lebel Provence. Okay. And we have a website, modelerslife.com. Go there and you'll find out all kinds of cool stuff. And you can send us, if you want to send us an email and you can't remember the address, you'll find a picture of Bruce, the moderately agitated mailboy, in a particularly agitated state. Just click on his face and boom, it's easy to send an email. And you can also check out our Patreon, which you really like, don't you, Serge? Our Patreon.
Of course I do. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's it.
I think it is.
Serge, can you handle taking us out of here?
I believe I can.
All right. So remember, a modeler's life is considered marginally... Oh, wait a minute. Is that right?
Wow.
So I guess Serge can handle it, but you're having trouble.
Yeah.
I threw up the email address.
Yeah.
Oh, this is just fantastic.
So remember, a modeler's life is considered marginally adequate by 6 out of 10...
One-man crew locomotive engineer.
I laughed at her and she got mad. The first day that she planted it was just a twig. Then the first snow came and she ran out to brush the snow away so it wouldn't die. Came running in all excited, slipped and almost hurt herself, and I laughed till I cried.
A Modeler's Life is sponsored by Big Ass Maine Potatoes. If you've got a Maine potato, you've got a big ass.
It's another Lincoln Homer.